Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at the charts for Sunday. Moving into next week, which I think might be a bit of a bumpy week. I'll show you why. Actually, I'll just show you this quick. So this is still the monthly chart. Bitcoin dominance, major resistance. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. We did get a pullback here. Also had a major pullback over here. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, to be honest. It's just an observation I thought I'd bring to your attention. To be fair, the money flow index, is in the discomfort zone, but still plenty of room to run. But this is a monthly, by the way, and we've not really ever been this high in the money flow index on the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's the second highest read we've got. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring it to your attention. Don't read too much into it. It's just an observation. Don't shoot me. I appreciate lots of people will want to shoot me on the comments. They don't like it when I talk about these sort of things. Even though some of these altcoins that I have brought to your attention have yielded significant moves over this last week. This obviously Chainlink still up 18% over the last 24 hours. Massive pump. Massive pump. Anyway, INJ still looking good. Still, BSV probably peaked for now. XRP is what I'm looking to highlight for today. But before we start that, let's have a think about Bitcoin itself. 4 hourly, 10 exponential, so far holding. Potential pullback to 29,446 or 500, we'll call it. Fair enough, that's all very possible. 2 drives of bearish divergence on the 4 hourly. Take it to the next level. The 12 hourly has a relatively high read on the money flow index as well. Not really, but kind of some bearish divergence on that as well. And then finally the daily, moving outside of the Bollinger Bands. Normally you get dragged back inside that, and if we were to pull back to the next major area, well, you could call it the 7 simple, which is 29,000, but the next major area over here currently sits down at 28,764. Either way, this is still good chart structure. Maintain the higher lows, golden crosses across the board, rainbow spread of moving averages. Everything is quite nice on this. So I'm still looking for this to trend up towards the top of this range. Whether it does it immediately is a different story. Right, so just a moment ago, and we came down to that 51.5 cent zone. So this is a fresh, more or less a fresh 4 hourly candle body. That wick took us to a 21 exponential moving average, which would have been worthy of an entry point for anybody who was looking at this. We'd probably come down to it again, in all fairness. It wouldn't surprise me if we did. We've still got the trend signal, so if for those who are sort of blissfully unaware of how Itchy Cloud works, this is one of the better ways to look at it. Why is my drawing tool so rubbish today? Never mind. Anyway, so you can see these blue crossing the red. That's your conversion baseline cross. We've got price action above the cloud and the GQ span above the price. That's all we really care about on the for this particular indicator now. This means a trend is in play from wherever it was generated. Not so much price, but basically generally a trend is in play. The way that this would cancel itself out was obviously a negative cross with the blue crossing down below the red, or the Chiku span, which is this over here, hitting the price action. So at the moment we can avoid that, so long as we maintain price above 49 cents for what would be the next day and a half. Until then, we really need to be a little bit higher than where we are right now, above 52 really. Otherwise, we'll be in a bit of trouble for XRP's trend signal. And again, it's just an itchy cloud. It's not the be-all and end-all. There's a million ways to trade. This is my preference. It's not the only way. I'm sure there's other people out there trading it completely differently with, I don't know, fib circles or, Elliott waves or whatever. But this is my way to trade it. This is what I like to do. So anyway, the trend still looks good anyway. But for me, excuse me, I've still got the mystery illness. For me, I do really want to see it hold above 51.5 cents. And to be honest, a little bit higher than that now, if we can. The 51.5 cent zone is decent, but I want it to really get above the 50, we'll call it 53. So it's actually 52.80, give or take. That 200 simple moving average on the daily is going to be a big deal for it. Now, this has been a big consolidation, and I was making the case that this is a similar kind of setup, although a bit more crooked, but a similar kind of setup than the Bitcoin SV's chart was. But looking at Bitcoin SV on the 4 hourly opposed to XRP on the daily. So, what we've got right now is price action above most moving averages on the daily, which is always a good sign, and one that we should recognise as potentially ready to launch. This could end up being the accumulation after consolidation. We've got MACD crossing up above the 0 point slowly. It's not broken yet, but it's slow. We've got momentum break as well on RSI and money flow index as well, which is good. What we really want to see is obviously being above all the major moving averages and continuing to make higher highs. At the moment, there's no higher high at the moment. We basically had a small higher high, higher low structure, broke down basically, and we might be starting this whole scenario all over again. Look, long story short, there is definitely a good chance that this does go into a really big uptrending move, starting with major resistance at 60 all the way up to 82, then to 90, and maybe beyond. The reason I say that is because this is how XRP works, with or without the SEC, which again has played a major role in both the last bull market and currently this bull market. That's the end of the last bull market into end of the last bear market into the bull market. I should mention this is where the bull market began for crypto, and it continued to go down for XRP. It's got its own thing going on, which is why we like to look at it. And then finally, when it started to break out of this descending triangle, we had a big move up, SEC, pump group, continuation of the bull market, popped over here, and bear market. So what we're looking at now is a breakout. First big move up, consolidation. Second big move up, SEC, thou giveth, thou taketh away. We are looking for another big move up. Whether it happens immediately or a little bit further on down the line is no big deal to me as a hodler on this one, but from a trader's perspective, you do want to try and, you do want to try and, if you're taking positions in this, with futures, whatever, you do really want to try and time the market as well, which is why I would be way more bullish above 52 to 53 cents than I am at this exact moment right now, which effectively is on the resistance or the support, depending on the second that you look at it. I'm not particularly sold on its general position right this very moment in time. However, looking at the weekly, the 200 exponential has been retested, more or less supported on. We might have a stumbling block around 55, which is the Bollinger Band on that weekly there. But overall, I'm relatively hopeful. The daily doesn't have any trend or pump signal, nor will it, because the size of the consolidation means that we're not going to get a pump signal until we clear 64. And you probably are not, and you're definitely not going to get a trend signal form on this one on the daily. So I am bullish on its structure. I am pretty confident that it will work out anyway, but in the immediate term time frame, that 4 hourly has basically got a day and a half to continue with its trend before it decides it's over with. Anyone who's looking to take positions on this based on a 4 hourly really needs to think about where they enter those positions and where they want to have their stop losses, to be honest. 200 simple and exponential doesn't have a golden cross on this, not quite yet. Probably will by tomorrow, but doesn't have it quite yet. They often get retested, and depending on the strength of the trend or if there is a trend, we'll see where that crosses what price action. Probably below 51.5 cents, probably closer to 50 or a little lower. Anyway, I like it. I think it's good, but let's not go crazy. It's been a good week so far. Coming into Sunday now, we've made a lot of money on these alts. Been very lucky, I would say. I'll call it a large degree of luck, but definitely a successful week with Link, INJ, and obviously BSV all being very good. Not looking to go mad on something like XRP, despite the risk to reward being pretty good. I'm still a little skeptical of Bitcoin's next move. And moving into next week, this is the one thing that's concerning me. This is a nice bit of gold, right? So gold, daily, money flow index found a very, very significant peak. 96. Normally you get a pullback on anything quite so high, right? Gold is running hard, right? It's running hard for probably a variety of reasons. Technicals being one of those reasons, as we bounced from a 200 simple moving average. So that was more than a V-shaped recovery. There's looking on for a new high, and I'm sure we're going to get it. But in the interim period, right now, we are more likely to see a pullback than a continuation up immediately. And I'm talking overnight into tomorrow, first portion of next week. Look, gold is bullish, let's face it. This is a bullish chart, and it's probably going to go on to make a new all-time high quite soon. But immediately, I think it's more likely that it has a little pullback. And the pullback is probably going to be bigger than any sort of move up that we get moving into next week, or at least at the beginning of next week. I'm still bullish on it, but let's face it, it's very risky taking long positions on it right now, with a pullback taking place on the top of the Bollinger Band on the weekly and the overheated read on the daily money flow index. Is a bit hot to handle. There might be a correlation between gold and Bitcoin. We'll see. We'll see. They have been pretty correlated in the past, not so much recently, but they're pretty correlated generally speaking, and we'll see how that performs. The S&P are taking a big nosedive as well because of Tesla, so we'll see how that goes. We are breaking down at this point now below the symmetrical triangle, so that does not look particularly good with the support that exists a little bit lower than where we are right now. So it's not chaos at the moment. It's not chaos, but we've had a decent week. We don't want to ruin those gains. We want to preserve them, and we want to trade on brighter days. You can get overconfident, especially when you've had such a good week like there's been this week's been a phenomenal week. Probably one of the better weeks in recent memory, to be honest. And so as much as you want to redeploy cash here, there and everywhere, sometimes it's better to sit back and watch and wait, which is for the most part what we've been doing really for a while. So take those gains. For me, anyway, I'm going to be taking those gains, and I'm going to be waiting for the next clearer setup, and hopefully we can continue with the trend, and hopefully we can blast XRP up to the moon. But right this very moment in time, probably better to chill out for a little while just to see. And if you miss the trade, it's no big deal. There's nothing bad about missing a trade. What's worse is making a bad trade and staying in a bad trade. That's the worst thing, especially if you knew that there was a decent possibility of it not working out, or moving away from your principles and rules that you make for yourself. So for me, chill out. As much as XRP does look good for a ripping move, I will get more bullish on it when it stays above 53 cents, and I'll quite happily enter a trade above that level. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Take it easy.